But I guess the best part about that whole time, I guess you could say, is I got to see Mr. Judge, not in a normal way. So,
right.
or Mr. Mr. Judge.
The father of Aaron Judge.
Father of Aaron Judge was in the bathroom
And
ahead of me in line, so we were waiting together in line. So. Welcome back to another week of the rotation with Mike and Jon. I'm Jonathan Sawyer. With me is my brother Mike DeSanto. Mike, it's spring training week, and we are here. And next week is our week in the Grapefruit League.
Yes.
How's your baseball week been going so far?
You know, it's really nice to see not only the pitchers and catchers, but the rest of the rosters have reported. You get footage and you get gameplay and footage of guys doing drills in camp and things like that. And it's just both from as a Yankee fan to see the Yankees, but also for the league in general. It's just really cool to see everybody back, everybody kind of going through the paces, having fun. Because I think the difference for me between spring training and the regular season, right? Regular season, everybody's trying to win games. It's all business, right? Spring training is kind of a good time to start the year where everybody's just kind of having fun. Obviously, they're trying to win the spring training game, but really, it's nice to see the guys a little more relaxed, at least to start the year. So what about you?
Fun. We're having fun.
We're having fun.
No, I'm in agreement. I love this time of the year. I always feel like this is the start of, like, when we were in New York, this was like the start of like summer almost. We're getting closer to it. We're getting close to opening day. I love this time of the year. Opening day baseball is a month away, and I agree with you 100%. You go to these stadiums and it's just very relaxed. You don't get the intensity as you would in a regular game in a regular season. So I enjoy that part. But these young guys are making it real tough on these free agents still out there to get contracts because they are performing at a high level, especially one Spencer Jones for the Yankees, our 6'8" or 6'6" Aaron Judge on the left-hand side. So I'm excited to see what he has to offer here for the Yankees. But next week, it starts our week for our tour around Florida. We start on March 2nd, end on March 9th, and we will be going through all the stadiums. So stay tuned to our socials at Cinco Squad Pod 05, mostly on Instagram and Twitter. So make sure you're tuning in there. We're going to be live tweeting at games. If you're at these games, we will have giveaways. We're going to do a little quick, like a little trivia for each team, see who can guess the most out of players for the organization. I mean, I don't know many nationals, so you might get that koozie very early. But I'm looking forward to it. Mike, are you excited for next week, or is it just me?
No, absolutely. I'm excited. I fly out to you on Friday evening.
The evening Friday.
No, I'm super excited.
When Mike travels, he turns into a British guy.
I should fly on the aeroplane down to Florida. I'm very excited. I'm excited to not only go to the spring training games and be able to see all the parks and stuff, but I'm excited to see my brother. I'm excited to be able to watch baseball with my brother once again. It's been 2 years since John and I watched a live baseball game together. So, last one being at Yankee Stadium in October. We narrowly missed Judge breaking the...
We watched Stanton hit a missile.
Oh, my God.
And watched me drink too many shots to stay warm.
I was like, what's taking him so long to come back from the bed? Oh, Jameson. Gotcha.
Hey.
John,
Mike,
sit down.
Mike, you're back. John, you're backwards.
You're backwards.
You're not talking to me.
The game is this way.
For reference, it was a very cold day in Yankee Stadium. It was 60 degrees. And, of course, we caught the one. We go into a bar, and the person goes to us, man, it's the coldest it's been since last year. I'm like, beautiful. Of course, when I fly up, mind you, I fly up in the middle of a hurricane. But I guess the best part about that whole time, I guess you could say, is I got to see Mr. Judge, not in a normal way. So,
right.
Or Mr. Judge.
The father of Aaron Judge.
Father of Aaron Judge was in the bathroom ahead of me in line, so we were waiting together in line. So, but that's I'm very excited for this too. It's going to be a great time. I love spring training. And next year, we are planning on going to Arizona. We're going to go to Arizona next year. And it's going to be I think it's going to be even better. Like I mentioned on Cinco Squad here last Thursday, is all the stadiums are right in us pretty much 50 square mile from each other. So that should be interesting next year. But I'm really looking forward to it. We start our journey 7 a.m. on Saturday, driving up to the East Coast. Going to see, I believe, the Astros and Cardinals. I'm excited to see the Cardinals. My second, I don't know about you, Mike. So I'm just going to kind of go off script here. We're going to take it off. What stadium, other than Yankees Stadium that you already been to, what stadium would you want to go to other than them? Like you were like, damn, I really want to go there.
Like home park, right? Not spring training park.
No, yeah, home park.
There's a lot. There's a lot of really good. I mean, obviously, I want to make it to all the stadiums. At some point, big tour. But that's a tough question.
Big tour guy over there.
Big tour guy.
Jaime.
Wrigley. Jaime. Shout out to if you're out there listening. Shout out to Jaime.
Jaime. It was really, we met a guy. If anyone can help find this guy, we never got his information. Help us find Jaime. He works at Yankee Stadium as a tour guide. Please, someone have him. We want to have him on the rotation. He was awesome to talk to, hilarious to talk to. We talked to him probably an hour in Monument Park. So I really want to see. I want him to come on the show.
Me too.
So, Jaime, if you're watching or if you hear this, please DM us and let's get you on the show.
Yeah, let's get you on the show.
What were you saying? Wrigley Park?
Wrigley Field. I think it's because it's a combination of I would have to say if you like made me choose a second favorite MLB team, for me it would probably be the Cubs. I'd probably, if like the Yankees like didn't exist ever, I probably would be a Cubs fan.
Yeah.
And just it's a historic park, but it's been modernized a bit while still keeping some of like kind of the old school feel to it, like the ivy and all that. So I just think that it's always looked like a really cool ballpark to go watch a game in, where it really doesn't look like there's a bad seat there either. I've heard a few parks don't really have bad seats, and that looks like it's one of them. What about you?
Mine would be Busch Stadium, 100%. I've always had some sort of soft spot for the Cardinals. I just love their organization. Probably because I was the Cardinals as a kid growing up on my Little League teams.
Yeah.
So I had a lot of Cardinals gear already, like hats. I was Cardinals like 3 years in a row.
Yeah.
And I just enjoy their history, right? Like it's just
for sure.
St. Louis just looks like a cool place to visit. I would love to get there and go see Busch Stadium. That's why I'm kind of excited to go see the Cardinals play in person, because I'm kind of, if I wasn't a Yankee fan, I'd probably either be a Cardinals or a Braves fan, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I like both of those organizations too, so it's a good choice.
But let's get it rocking. Make sure you guys tune into our socials. Instagram and Twitter, we are going to be heavily on over the next week with baseball coverage. Make sure you're tuning in. We're looking forward to seeing anybody and everyone out there. So if you're out there, you see our Cinco Squad jerseys, we will approach you to see if you want to play a game, to see if you can be on our platform, number one. Number two, probably win some free stuff. So looking forward to that. But yes, let's get into Yankees talk. New York Yankee baseball is back, baby. Let's get it. I'm excited. It's baseball. I mean, the young guys are looking great. Spencer Jones, Aguilar is looking good. Lombard Jr. is hitting the shit out of the ball. Yep. This one, Vivias just hit a towering shot earlier today. I mean, it's really cool to see these young guys really perform. But the vets are coming out strong. Stanton entered camp he was already in shape, but now he's even in better shape. He lost some weight, which he didn't really need to, like we talked about last week. Soto looks good. He looks happy. For the first time in years, it looks like. He didn't really look happy in San Diego. He looked okay. I mean, you look happy when you win a World Series, but he looks happy, he looks home. So I'm excited. What's your thoughts on the Yankees so far?
Yeah, so I think I agree that combination of the young guys that have been stepping up and making big plays. Some guys that you don't really hear about or haven't heard about coming into camp. And also the veterans. I like that, they seem to be having fun. Soto has already gotten off. Listen, if he hits the way in the regular season the way he's hitting in spring training, we're going to be just fine.
Dude, he's in tower, and he's swing every. I watched his at bat the last couple of days, and even his foul balls are just like tower.
Mm-hmm.
It just sounds like maybe because there's not a lot of people in the park right now, but man, it's just a crack. I'm like, damn.
Yeah. You still have to make solid you still have to make solid contact to make a noise like that.
I'm looking forward to hopefully getting to see him in person.
Me too.
To see how he performs, if they even play at this point. They should be. If I'm thinking correctly, I think we'll be able to see Soto and Judge and all them. Mm-hmm. But honestly, for me, the one guy that's looking pretty good right now is Carlos Rondon. See him go out, pitch 2 2/3. Only gave up 1 earned. Gave up a home run yesterday, which was okay. But he had 5 Ks. 5 Ks in his first start. So I'm happy with that start. I'm happy with how he's looked. And they interviewed Nestor the other day, and he was just talking about how him and his mechanics. He's trying to put some velo behind it. He's trying to really just feel out his. Before last year, when he would try to come into games, he would feel sore and like very pain. And this year, like even if he tries to ramp it up a little bit, he doesn't feel that way. So I'm really looking forward to those two getting healthy. And I think the addition of Marcus Stroman, potentially more, could help them prolong, their season.
Yeah. Nestor and Rodon, they both look a lot more comfortable coming into camp than they did last year. You could tell if you look back at them last year, you could tell like there was always something bothering them.
Yes.
Yeah. Now it seems like both of them have really taken benefit from the winter of just like getting back into a routine, getting healthy, healing up, and Rodon looks like he's pitching as if his back is not an issue anymore, which is fantastic because they said it could be chronic. So
when honestly, it wasn't even the pitching. It was him when he went to pitchers and catchers and he was grounding balls at first base.
You're right.
Running back and forth, moving, like twisting, moving, doing different motions than he would have pitched. Like that shows to me that he's 100% healthy. He's ready to go, and they're not going to push. I mean, and Boone's already said he's not going to push. We haven't seen our Cy Young yet. We haven't seen him yet. He's not pitched. I think he probably gets a bump probably on Wednesday of this week, or probably later this week. What are you looking for out of Cole this year?
I guess continued success. I'm not going to expect. It's hard to expect him to be any better. He just won the Cy Young, which he should have won one before. But congratulations to Cole again for winning his first Cy Young. Just that consistency, and I think he'll benefit from the fact that, at least on paper right now, they shouldn't have to sit on him for as many innings as he's had to throw in the last couple of years. But yeah, so out of Cole, I just want to see him continue that success, because if he stays in the groove, if he can get back on the groove to start that he ended on, everything will be fine. The pitching staff is exponentially better if Gerrit Cole is what he was last year.
Yeah, I mean, he helps calm the rest of the guys down, right? Yeah. Stroman comes in, he had a little bit of a rocky start against the Blue Jays. He needs to settle in. He needs to be that 3. Right now, I think it should be Cole, Rondon, Stroman, Cortez. Now, who the 4th, 5th guy is, who knows? Right now, I'm assuming it's Clark Schmidt, unless they sign Montgomery or Snell, which doesn't seem likely. But I'm really happy for the guys. I'm really happy that they all look like they're having fun. But it's business right now. They had an interview with Anthony Rizzo. His interview, even though guys were like poking him, trying to like have some fun, he's locked in. He is not, and that's the way he's saying the entire locker room. Like, we're not messing around this year. This is our year. And that's the way they're viewing it. So if they're viewing it that way, now every team should be, right? You're a professional baseball player. But for him to come in and say, look, this is our year, and I agree with him. There's too much talent on this team to go and finish last in the division. Way too much talent. So for you to be lackadaisical in some way or so not, I can see the vets calling these young guys out. Hey, let's go, pick it up. And I think that's why you see the work ethic from these older guys, Judge, Stanton. You see Stanton losing weight. You see Soto coming in, playing like he's playing in October right now, because it sets an example for the rest of the guys going down that, hey, we're here, business. There's no fooling around right now. This is where you get your work in. We're going to have some fun, but this is where you get your work in. I love that mentality. I don't like the whole, let's goof around 24/7 bullshit. You're here to do a job. Now do your job and get it done. It's a long season. Let's get locked in. They haven't been locked in over the last few years. They really haven't.
No.
So,
yeah, you can enjoy doing your job, but you still have to do your job. And you have to be serious about. You can like doing it, but you have to do it, and you have to be focused on achieving it. And if that means putting fun to the side and just making and locking in and being completely serious, then that's what you got to do. You got to do whatever you got to do to win.
Well, he's ready. He's ready to go. I like the mentality that he has. I like the way that Judge is leading. Immediately, Soto says, I know he's a great guy. He's a great person. And anybody that walks in that locker room understands that that's the captain. That's who we, kind of take our orders from, I guess you could say. But he leads by example most of the time. He doesn't usually say much, and he's not that. He's a big guy, right? He's going to hold a lot of presence when he walks into a room. So I like the fact that he's doing what he has to do for himself in order to set an example. We got young guys on the roster. Dominguez should be back by June. You got Peraza, you got Pereira, you got Cabrera, who of all potentially could make the roster, should make the roster.
Should.
But as we move out of Yankees talk, let us know what you think. If you're a Yankees fan, I think it's going to be an exciting year. I was not hopeful in December. I'm getting my hopes up a little bit as I go, but keeping it monetarily. But let's move on to the rest of the league. We got Cody Bellinger.
Yep.
Signs with the Cubs. 3 years, $80 million.
Yep.
I'm not too surprised by this. I know he wanted probably 7. I think he wanted somewhere in the range of 7 years. But I'm not 100% surprised by this, meaning because there's still a lot to prove here. Okay, you went out and had one good season after leaving LA. But what are we doing? What are you going to do after this, right?
Right.
Is this going to be the Cody Bellinger or the MVP type? Or is this going to be Cody Bellinger where he's batting nearly 200?
Right.
Thoughts on this? How this sets a precedent for the rest of the free agents?
So first of all, I'm not surprised either. I figured Bellinger was going to end up having to take what can essentially in baseball terms, based on length of contracts that a lot of guys are getting now, a bridge deal. 3 years in the MLB for the length of contracts is more of a bridge deal. Yeah. He's getting paid more annually than he was asking for before. Supposedly he was asking between 21 and 22 million. He's making 30 the first year, 30 the second year, 20 the third year, and can opt out after each of the first 2 years, which I can see happening if he has a good year. Either one of those years. I'm not surprised it's the Cubs. What this does, though, for the rest of the free agents is this is the first domino to fall of Scott Boras clients. This is a sign that all the Scott Boras clients are going to have to take deals like this, are going to have to take bridge deals, shorter deals than they're asking for, because the teams have stood firm, and now you see that the number one hitter left on the market by a mile had to take this kind of a deal. So what does that mean for the rest of you? Type of thing.
I wouldn't say it should be a standard. Cody Bellinger has a lot of past that he needs to fix. If you're Blake Snell, I don't mind you standing on your sword because you went out and had 2 Cy Youngs, and a lot of people in the comments have said, "Oh, but the Rays one doesn't count because it was a half season." He still went out there and performed.
Right.
Just because the other guys didn't doesn't mean he doesn't deserve it.
Right, doesn't mean
so. I don't know. I think Blake Snell's going to hold firm to his 2 Cy Youngs in less than 5 years. Has been one of the top pitchers in the game, probably top 10 pitcher in the game, if not top 5 over the last 6 to 7 years. Really good, still young enough to make an impact on a team. I think they still hold firm to that 9 that they want. unless it goes down to 7 and comes up in money. That's where the negotiation comes out.
I think that's what it's going to end up being. It's going to be 5.
I mean, I think 7. I call 7 because that puts him right around 40 years old, and that's probably where a lot of teams don't want to pay past 40. They see Verlander, they see Scherzer. You know, Snell can go out there and really help a team that's needing a help.
Mm-hmm.
Now, will he take a deal based on, you know, location, right? Will he just take a deal with Kansas City, Oakland, and just say screw it? Not that they have that money, but
yeah, and that's the interesting part about Snell's thing is people have been talking about it for, you know, the whole winter, but there hasn't been a whole lot of new like word out of Snell's camp as far as like what besides the supposed deal he wants, the 9 years, $270 million that's been said before. What else is like a factor for him? We don't know how much he's weighing winner versus the money and years versus location. So it'll be interesting to see where he ends up. And I agree at this point, it sounded like it's not the Yankees.
I actually see the Yankees signing him. I know Jack Curry mentioned that he doesn't see it. I actually see him signing because I think that's the only offer on the table right now. I don't think there's anything else where he's going to have to be like, okay, let's go. Let's ride. Like, and honestly, do you want to be a part of a championship team? Do you want to win a championship, or do you want to go to a team and just get paid? There's a difference there. I mean,
right.
Look at Javi Baez. I mean, he clearly didn't want to win a championship. I mean, he already won one with Chicago.
He got his, so he got his money.
So he got his money. So, I mean, I don't know. It's a little different situation, but I see Cody Bellinger setting a precedent for the players. But I think it's completely different when you're talking about pitchers and players. There's a complete difference, in my opinion. The players, because pitching has been so bad over the last 3 years, it has gotten worse and it's continued to get worse. That I think it made it harder for Cody versus it's going to make it harder for Snell because a good pitcher is hard to find nowadays. Look at spring training already. Look how many home runs the Yankees have by young guys. The young guys are here to hit and here to play. And I'm not just talking about the Yankees. It's a lot of these kids. It's a lot of these kids that are coming up and they're MLB ready. So it's making it tougher for these free agent players like the field players, infielders, outfielders, those type of players versus pitchers. Pitchers are harder to come by. Good pitching. Consistent pitching.
That's true, but if the teams were that desperate, I think Snell and Montgomery would already be signed. Someone would have, if they're desperate, they're going to give them what they want because good pitching is hard to find, which it is. I think the teams are standing firm to we want good pitching, but we're not willing to sacrifice, in Snell's case, 9 years, Montgomery's case, I think he wants like 5 or 6 years for you. They're telling them we're not willing to sacrifice that long of time and money for you. We'd rather try the young guys or these mid-level pitchers that we've signed instead.
Well, that's why I say there's a difference with the pitching than the position players. There's a complete difference between them. There's a complete gap between them where it wasn't before. That's what I'm trying to say is that Cody Bellinger setting that makes it more for the position players than it does a pitcher. Where I think they don't see with Snell, they don't want to pay him 9 years. They don't want to do the 9 years. I think they're willing to pay him because the Yankees deal was the same amount, just less time.
Right, it's 5 years.
Right.
They offered 5.
So with the same amount per year. So correct. I don't think it has anything to do with the money. I think it has more the longevity. But I think Cody's deal helps the player situation versus the pitcher situation because there's a big gap between the two. Batting averages and everything. Look at last year. We had 5 guys in the NL go over 300. When's the last time we've seen something like that? Like, we said it all year that Cody Bellinger would have won the MVP any other year.
Any other year except for Acuna did what he did. Right.
And the rest of the guys, Luis Arraez, Ronald Acuna Jr., you had Shohei, you had all these guys.
Yeah.
Matt Olson on that same team. He had 50 home runs.
Yeah. No, but that's what I'm saying. I'm saying it as far as years is that this sets a precedent that Boris clients are going to have to take way less years than they want. Cody took a fourth of what he initially asked for. The initial ask length was 12 in December.
But he still got the money, though. That's what I'm saying.
Right. I'm not saying
he got more than he was asking for.
Right. But I'm not saying it's setting a precedent for money. Money's going to be money. I'm saying the length they're going to pay them for.
Right. And that's what I'm talking about. Money. Down. I mean, I don't know. I kind of disagree with that just because based on pitching is a complete different scenario now.
Right. But if Snell was going to get 9, he would have gotten 9 already. That's my point. My point is someone would have given him 9 if he was going to get 9. If they're that desperate for good pitching, and he's by far the best left. He's been by far the best left since the winter meetings.
Yeah.
If not before that. If someone was going to give him 9, they would have given him 9 within the last 3 months.
Yeah, I guess. I guess I see that.
That's why I'm saying 5. I think he's going to have to take what for his asking is a bridge deal, which is going to be 5 years. It pays him until he's 36. And then he can go get his Verlander Scherzer deal.
Someone needs to sign him because he's going to make a team immediately better, because if he hops on a team that already has an established 1, 2, and 3, he can step into that 3 role, potentially 2, and make that team better. So hopefully that's the Yankees, but we'll see here in hopefully before opening day. But speaking about 5, Mike, let's go on to a topic that I came up with about top 5 players you're looking forward to seeing. It doesn't have to be in a specific order, just top 5 players you're looking for out of 2024. What we're going to do is just read through the list, and we'll kind of go back and forth afterwards once you read through your list. So I'll let you go ahead first.
Okay, so doing all 5, right?
Just go through all 5 real quick, and then we'll talk about them after.
Okay, so the 5 guys I'm watching this year are following. Elly De La Cruz of the Cincinnati Reds. Bobby Witt Jr. of the Kansas City Royals. Grayson Rodriguez of the Baltimore Orioles. Michael King of the San Diego Padres.
Damn.
And Yoshinobu Yamamoto of the LA Dodgers.
You only did that because you can say his name.
That's not the only reason I did it. I'm not going to say it's not a reason I did it, but it's not the only reason. What's your list?
Mine is no pitchers. I'm not looking forward to any pitchers, apparently. I'm going Julio Rodriguez. I want to see him. He had a decent year last year, right? 37 stolen bases, 275, 32 home runs. I'm looking forward to seeing how he can progress that. O'Neal Cruz. I think we never got to see what his second season was going to be with Pittsburgh, and I want to kind of see how he bounces back from that injury. Yeah. Luis Arraez had a career fantastic year. I want to see of the Miami Marlins. Adolis Garcia had that amazing playoffs. Not so good regular season, but good playoffs. Want to see how he can catapult that as being a world champion. Mm-hmm. And then I'm going to take it to our Yankees. And there's one guy I really want to see how he performs, and that is Gleyber Torres. I want to see how he is going to catapult himself. So let's go back and forth between the lists. So you had, starting off, Elly De La Cruz. What sparks your interest with him?
So, I mean, obviously, fantastic rookie season when he came, from the moment he came up to the end of the year. He was, hitting the ball. He can run. He can field. He's big, but hits for contact, gap to gap. So I'm interested to see what a sophomore season of Elly De La Cruz looks like. There's the traditional sophomore slump that tends to hit a lot of baseball players when it comes to having great rookie years like he had. But I feel like with the way the Reds were really trending up going into the end of the year and having hit a star player again, possibly the biggest star player I would say since they had Ken Griffey Jr. What's this going to look? Well, maybe Joey Votto, but what's it going to look like, and how can he get even better? I'm excited to see him get even better.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how he does. I mean, will he come out and perform like he did in the first 19 games? He had 19 home runs or some shit like that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Like, he had a crazy stat line, and it was nuts. I'm interested to see how he does. He slumped off towards the end of the year, which kind of makes me a little nervous, but he's a rookie. He's not meant to. This is his actual rookie season, to be honest with you.
Right.
I think.
This will be his first full season. Yeah, he didn't come up till May.
first full season. So, yeah, he's definitely a guy to take a look at, as well as O'Neal Cruz. I think those two guys are similar. They have
Yes.
similar talent, and in 3-4 years, we'll be talking about them as potential guys of contract negotiations, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
I think the biggest guy I want to look for is Julio Rodriguez. He had a fantastic year last year. 103 ribbies, 32 home runs, 180 hits, 275 average, 37 stolen base. I think I just said that, but
Mm-hmm.
he had a fantastic year last year, right? And I'm looking to see how he can catapult. I think towards the end of the season, he started to fall off a little bit. How can he take this season and take it by the reins? Because he is, in my opinion, the next young big star, right?
Yes.
It was him and Wander Franco and a couple other guys, but I think he leads the top, right? Like he leads the top of these guys. So
100%.
how can he catapult himself and help the Mariners this year is going to be key. And like I said, Adolis Garcia had a fantastic postseason. I mean, what did he do in the postseason? I got to look here. Postseason batting. I mean, he batted in the World Series, batted 300. ALCS, he batted 357. In ALDS, he batted 357. And then in the wild card, he only batted 200, but they played 2 games.
Right.
But he batted, I mean, he had 22 RBIs and 8 homers in the postseason. I mean, he just had an incredible year. I mean, he just really stepped up for his team. How can he catapult that? He went out with that oblique injury, which I know sucks, but I'm interested to see how he does.
Yeah, for sure. I think he's got a lot to build off of, even though it ended the postseason ended prematurely for him with that oblique injury, which sucked. But yeah, ALCS MVP, started mashing the ball, and this is a guy that got cut by the Cardinals and the Rangers once before.
Kicking themselves.
Exactly. Imagine the Cardinals had him on top of all the other guys that prospects they just let go that were really good. But yeah, I think he's going to be a big candidate to have a full breakout year as opposed to just breaking out in the postseason, to really cement himself as one of the top outfielders in the American League, if not the major leagues. One that I was super interested in was Bobby Witt Jr. He just got his big extension that everybody expected. Yeah. Everybody expected the Royals to end up giving him, and he's only gotten better. He's only looked better with every game I've seen him play.
Faster.
Yeah. Right. Is it me, or does he seem to run faster every time we see him play? It's insane. He's getting to Usain Bolt levels of where'd he go? Just a blur.
Yeah, he's crazy. I mean, for his career, what does he have? 79 already stolen bases. How long has he been in the league? 2 years?
A year and a half.
Yeah, 79 stolen bases. He had 49 last year. Crazy.
Yeah. It's just, and the thing is he came up and speed wasn't even his number one attribute that they were saying. He can hit, he can field, his baseball IQ is off the charts, being from, a baseball family. It's insane. Again, I guess like Ellie in Cincinnati, the Royals all of a sudden have a star again. And what can that do for not only him, but for the franchise, and bringing guys in the Royals are doing some sneaky free agent moves, and they have possibly one of, if not the best young player we'll see this year in the major leagues. Maybe I want to go over there for a little bit. Snell could going back to Snell real quick. Snell could look at that and go, if they're willing to give me 7 years, this team looks like they might be able to win in 7 years.
You never know. Okay. I mean, there's a lot of free agents out there.
Right,
and then exactly. Montgomery follows them. That could be an opportunity.
Exactly. All of a sudden,
it's not like the Royals are hurting for money. I think they can get it, right?
No,
But go to Michael King, and I'm interested in hear that one. What's that?
Yeah, so
why?
I guess this is on a personal note. So he got, those don't know, he got dealt from the Yankees in the Juan Soto deal. He was one of the 4 young pitchers that got sent over there. My thing was that near the end of the year last year, they were kind of using Yankees were kind of using King as a tweener. He was starting to start more games than he was out of the bullpen, which had been his traditional role. I believe he's only 27 at this point, 27, 28. And it looks like the Padres are going to be using him in a prominent starting role. And I just loved what I saw to end the year. I loved what his stuff looked like, and how it's, again, one of those cases of every time I saw him out there, he seemed to be getting better finally, after kind of being a consistently good bullpen arm, it was like, okay, he's got a little more than we thought. And now he's in San Diego where there's less pressure. They're not going to be expected to win. He can just go out there and throw. And so
I think the biggest thing with him was that he was asked to step into the Yankees as a team that should be winning a World Series in the last 6 years and immediately be your number two in a sense. And that's very difficult to step into, especially as a young guy.
Exactly. Yeah, so it's just like with that pressure off and with an expanded role or a more concrete expanded role where he's going to be trusted by an organization to be, one of their top starters and be a potential future long-term member of this rotation. I'm excited to see what that version of Michael King looks like and how he can just keep getting better.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at like my last two guys, Luis Ariz. I mean, can he continue that success?
Right.
His success ultimately catapulted the Marlins into the playoffs last year.
Yes.
His success ignited the offense. He led off. He would get good hits, put guys on base. I mean, there's nothing worse than a pitcher giving up a hit in the first inning, especially when you're trying to get a guy out who is just seeing the ball like a beach ball. Let's just see how he can redo the year pretty much. Maybe not do as well. Maybe 290-ish, 300-ish. Maybe he does the same, 300. I mean, he did it back-to-back years. I mean, he's the one that kind of got judged to not have won the Triple Crown because of his in Minnesota. So it's just see him. And then, like I said, Gleyber Torres, I think he's going to have his breakout year, right? I think he's very comfortable in the roster where he doesn't have to be the guy. He's got, LeMay leading off, Soto, Judge, Stanton, Rizzo, Torres, Volpe. You got all these guys where all you need to do is just play your game.
Right.
And be comfortable in your position. And that's what I think he has job security for the first time in a lot of years. Getting rid of people. There's a lot of good job security, which is comfortable. I mean, there's nothing like being like nervous. Hey, I might lose my job. I might get put down. I might get traded. I might get sent somewhere else. So interested to see how he performs this year. I'm hoping the best for him. I love Gleyber Torres. I think he's really a great second baseman, and I think he's a great player for the Yankees. Now, your last two are Yamamoto and
Grayson Rodriguez, a starting pitcher for the Baltimore Orioles. Rodriguez,
we know about Yamamoto.
Yeah, okay, right. Long story short, Yamamoto, it's a powerhouse Dodgers team, and he was the most high-priced free agent after Ohtani. What's he going to look like in the major leagues? That's pretty much the look for Yamamoto. But Grayson Rodriguez is a part of a just continuingly overall getting better roster with the Baltimore Orioles, and I have to give credit to Cousin Ray from Maryland, who's an Orioles fan and kind of pointed me in his direction last year in that Rodriguez came up, started the year, broke camp with the Orioles as a starter and was bad. He was bad. So they sent him down, and he says, a lot of guys we've talked about Devi Garcia, getting sent down can be the worst thing for their confidence. Rodriguez outright said, he's like, I needed it. I knew I needed it, and I went down there, and it was less pressure, and I figured out my stuff. And he came back up and was a completely different pitcher for them, on top of the other emerging pitchers they had. So I'm interested to see. He's been a highly touted prospect for them for the last 3 years. Watch out, this guy's coming, He could be he could turn into their ace. So I'm interested to see, can he fulfill that potential?
Can Baltimore hit on success what they did last year?
Right, exactly.
They had the opportunity to move on in the playoffs. I think they were the 1 seed in the AL, and they got knocked off. They didn't look good at all.
They weren't ready.
They weren't ready. They got beat by the Astros. You finally get a home playoff game, and last time there was a home playoff game, I think it was against the Yankees in 2014 when CC was supposed to start. Right. And he was not obviously supposed to. Something happened. But the last time, when's the last time you're going to get this? Is this going to be an every other year type of thing? That's what I'm looking for from the Baltimore Orioles as a whole is how can you and it's similar for a lot of these teams. How can you catapult your energy from last year into this year? It's very difficult to do. It's 162 games.
Yeah, health long year
plays a big thing. But these young guys, they're looking to these young guys to play a more prominent role in their success because the younger you are, the more athletic you are, the more things are hurting. I mean, I wake up, I'm 30 years old or 31 years old, and I'm hurting. I woke up the other day, my wrist was fucking killing me. I was like, what the hell's going on? So there's a lot of things going on in your body that, when you get older, you're just not as much, right? So these young guys are coming up, they're a springboard almost. They're like an energy boost. So I'm interested to see that too. Grayson Rodriguez was definitely a great pitcher for them last year. I mean, he struggled, like you said, but hopefully he can come up and help the Orioles out. Not too much though. Let's go Yanks.
Well, let's go Yankees. I hope they can finish in second. That's fine.
Yeah, I mean, no. No one from the AL East can make it except us. Let's just keep it at that.
Oh, no. I'm saying they can finish second in the East. They don't have to make the playoffs. They can just finish second in the East. They can be the next best East team. We'll just be the only ones to make it.
Well, Mike, we got 1 week. The next time you'll see us, we'll be together on a show. We'll be doing, like I said, tune into our socials. We will be having at Cinco Squad Pod 05. It'll be right down below here. Make sure you check us on Instagram and Twitter the most. That's where we'll be. Grapefruit League Tour. Not going to be able to hit every stadium, but I think we're going to hit 10 out of the 15 stadiums and get to see mostly all the teams. That's the biggest thing. Seeing all the teams, how they play, the young guys. I'm interested to see that. So, Mike, any final thoughts heading into the weekend?
I am super excited for this trip. I'm super excited to see you and be able to go watch some Grapefruit League baseball. Teams, watch out. The rotation's coming.
The rotation's coming. And that's a great way to end it. We'll see you guys here next week where Mike and I will be together. Rotation out. See you guys.